November 10th, 1984. Lynbrook, Long Island. A 16-year-old girl named Theresa Fusco finishes her shift at a roller skating rink a few blocks from her house. She leaves on foot, upset. She'd just been fired. She never makes it home. For 25 days, her family and the entire community searched. On December 5th, 2 teenage boys found her remains buried under leaves near the railroad tracks. Less than a mile from where she worked. Less than a mile from home. Police moved fast. Maybe too fast. Within 2 years, 3 men were convicted: John Kogut, John Restivo, Dennis Halstead, movers who worked together. The case looked solid. Confessions. Witness testimony. The community had their answers. What they actually had was one of the worst wrongful conviction cases in Long Island history. And the real killer was still out there, watching it all happen from 1 mile away. But we'll get to that. For 17 years, all 3 men sat in prison saying they were innocent. Nobody listened. Then in 2003, new DNA testing was done on evidence recovered from the crime scene. The profile didn't match Kogut, Restivo, or Halstead. Not even close. 3 men had spent 17 years in prison for a crime they did not commit. And the real suspect had been living freely the entire time. Working, existing, going about his life, while 3 innocent men served his sentence. A federal investigation later confirmed what the men had been saying all along. The lead detective, already dead by the time the verdict came down, had fabricated hair evidence, deliberately concealed other evidence from prosecutors, built a case on lies. 2 of the 3 men sued Nassau County. Each was awarded $18 million. They walked out of prison into a world that had moved on without them. And Theresa's family, who thought they had closure for almost 2 decades, had to start over from zero. The real suspect's DNA profile had been sitting in a database since 1984. A real sample, pointing to a real person, whose name nobody knew yet. Here's where everything changes. By early 2024, 40 years after Theresa's death, investigators used genetic genealogy to trace the unknown DNA through public family tree databases. The science works backwards: match the crime scene DNA to distant relatives, build the family tree, narrow it down until one name keeps appearing. The name was Richard Bilodeau, 63 years old, working overnight shifts at a Walmart in Suffolk County. And here's the detail that makes this case impossible to shake. In 1984, Bilodeau had lived with his grandparents in Lynbrook, 1 mile from the roller skating rink, 1 mile from where Theresa's body was found, 1 mile from where she took her last walk home. He had been right there, the whole time, while 3 other men went to prison for what he did. Investigators didn't move immediately. They put him under surveillance and waited for the right moment, a chance to collect DNA without tipping him off. February 2024. Bilodeau stopped at a smoothie cafe in Suffolk County, ordered a drink, finished it, threw away the cup. Investigators pulled it from the trash. The DNA from the straw matched the 1984 sample, perfectly, 40 years apart. Same profile, no room for doubt. October 14th, 2025. Richard Bilodeau was arrested. The next day, he was arraigned on 2 counts of second-degree murder. He denied knowing Theresa Fusco, pleaded not guilty. Nassau County DA Ann Donnelly stepped in front of cameras and said it plainly. He said people got away with murder back then. Well, Mr. Bilodeau, it's 2025, and I got you now. The case is still moving through courts. Bilodeau's defense has already signaled they may try to redirect blame toward the 3 exonerated men, a strategy that Kogut's former attorney called more salt in the wound for men who already lost 17 years of their lives. 1 wrongful conviction, then 2, then 3. $18 million each to 2 of them. a detective who fabricated evidence and died before anyone could hold him accountable, and a real suspect who spent 4 decades living a normal life, 1 mile from where Theresa Fusco took her last walk home. 1 smoothie, 1 straw, 1 match that took 41 years to make. ShadowDossier. Subscribe so you catch the next case.